weather forecast. So we got a lot going on. Big storm in the Midwest. So we're gonna first begin by showing you the weather map, and this map is courtesy of weatherstreet.com, just to give proper credit. And it's a really good source that I use. It allows me to kind of fast forward and see what's known as the surface map, what's going to be going on. So this is shows me where all the highs and lows are, where all the systems are. So and you'll see, I'm going to do a little adjusting here, but you'll see that the map also shows the timestamp. So this is right now, effectively, it's 8:45, but Sunday, 7 a.m., January 31st. Historically, it seems like February is always the big month for storms. I don't know why, but just my whole life, whether it's 1978 or the big blizzard we had here maybe 7-8 years ago where we got 3 feet of snow, and many other times, it just seems like the snow seems to always come in February, which is a little bit of a transition month. It's like the days are longer. We've already added more than 45 minutes of daylight at the end of the day. The beginning of the day, we probably added 25 or 30 minutes. I haven't looked, but roughly it doesn't go equally. In fact, the earliest sunset of the year is actually prior to December 22nd. Bet you didn't know that. December 22nd, we've actually gotten a couple of minutes back. So that's in the West Hartford area. So anyway, so we're getting sunset now 5 p.m. The earliest it is 4:20, which is right around December 10th, 11th. And so we've gained 45 minutes. So actually, then we're probably a little past, because I think they're 5:05. I think we've gained 45 or 46 minutes of daylight. So that, as a result, February is starting to be a transition where the milder air is trying to start to work its way back in, but we still have a really firm grip on winter, and the result of that conflict can be powerful storms. So we got a powerful one coming tomorrow. Surprised us a little bit. Number one, it's going to be a little stronger than anyone thought. Number two, it's going to get here a little sooner than anyone thought. So do prepare for it. Make sure you've got your plowing arrangements made. One trick we use is we'll pay to park a car in the garage in town overnight, so we don't have to deal with shoveling the car off. And we also leave the driveway unobstructed so the snowplow can get it. And sometimes the town is nice. They leave the gates up so you don't have to pay, but that's a little trick. And there's several covered garages. There's one right across from Blueback, across Main Street from Crate and Barrel. And then there's a couple in Blueback. Just grab a covered spot and your car stays nice and dry while this nastiness hits. So anyway, and you want to make sure that you got food and stuff on hand. But like I said, this will be cleaned up by Tuesday noon, I think. But I do think there's going to be at least a 1-day disruption in live learning. I'm not sure what our count is. I think it's 2 snow days, and then we go to remote. And I don't know. I know we've had 1 snow day. I don't know if we've had 2 or not. So just prepare accordingly. I think there is no scenario tomorrow where schools are open. And I think Tuesday is a toss-up. It's going to be very light snow on Tuesday, but it depends how much the heavier stuff lingers overnight tomorrow night. It is a longer duration event. These storms tend to last 18 hours. This one's going to linger, but I think it's going to linger in the form of lighter snow on Tuesday. So it'll be 24 to 30 hours, but I think the last 12 hours of it's going to be really light on and off. And then maybe we get some sun Tuesday afternoon, hopefully. Also, the good news behind this thing, there's a lot of mild air, mild relative to it being February 1st or 2nd. So cleanup should be pretty easy. And the mild air is going to stick around. So we're going to be in the 30s, maybe even get to 40 for most of the week. So anyway, I'm kind of giving you the forecast for later in the week. We'll get into this storm, and then I'll talk a little bit about next weekend's event, which there are some conflicts on the modeling, whether it's going to be rain, snow, or snow to rain. So we'll get into that too. So let's get over to, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put this map into motion. So this is today. Now you see the storm, even like places like Philadelphia and South Jersey this afternoon are going to be getting a little bit of snow. You can look outside now. You see that those thin telltale clouds are already rolling in. So this storm's going to have, kind of a good typical buildup for a big snowmaker. And then overnight tonight, if you look at the map, it says there's going to be snow overhead. There probably will be, but it's cold enough it's going to evaporate before it hits the ground. So I don't think you'll wake up to snow on the ground tomorrow. I could be wrong. It could be 5 a.m., 6 a.m. the snow gets going and makes it to the ground. And then, 7 a.m., it shows us into the snow. But again, I really think it's going to be evaporating. It's cold enough. The snow's just not going to make it to the ground. It'll be overhead. If you're flying anywhere tomorrow, you take off, you hit 500, 1,000 feet, and you'll see the snow going by the wings. So, and then tomorrow mid-morning is when things really get going. You can see the center of the low. I don't know if you can see my pointer. I hope you can, but you see the center of 994 millibars, which is right around, just to convert for those of you who don't know millibars, 29 point, maybe 2.5, 2.4, somewhere around there, inches of mercury. And that storm is going to increase as it gets off the coast. So we move on to tomorrow night, and now it's off. Once it gets off the coast, it just kicks into gear. It becomes kind of a typical nor'easter. There's going to be really strong winds, particularly down on the coast. It's going to really wind up. The winding up is going to allow sleet and rain to get to the coast. In fact, Cape Cod, it's going to be an almost all rain event, but it's going to be nasty. It's going to be really, really heavy rain. Boston, it's going to be mostly rain or snow to rain or very, very wet snow if it stays snow. Beverly, those areas. Here, they're calling for it to stay all snow. I'm a little bit skeptical. I think the storm's going to wind up enough that I think we could get a little bit of transition to freezing rain. I think the surface temperatures will stay low, but I think the temperatures aloft, we might get up there where we get a little bit of freezing rain changeover, and that'll suppress snow totals. We always seem to get just a little bit of changeover when the coast, particularly the southeast coast, gets a full changeover. And you can see here, this is Tuesday, 1 a.m. I hope my pointer's working. I'll look when I rewatch this if my pointer's working. But you can see the southeast portion of the state is clearly, in rain at that point. And you can see, and it's very hard. This is a tough map and it's tough to zoom in on. But I have a tough time believing with the strength of the storm, unless it tracks absolutely perfectly, that we don't get a little bit of transition overnight. You might hear the tinking on your windows. That's what you'll hear, and it'll be overnight, so you may not even catch it. And then Tuesday morning, you can see the storm. The center of the storm is still to our south. I think this map's a little bit off. I actually think it's going to be a little bit east of there. Right now, it has it pretty much due south of New York City, or really Greenwich, if you want to be really accurate. And I just think it's going to be a little bit further east. And you can see the lighter bands are already in a nor'easter scenario. Typically, once the storm moves east of your location, whether it goes over your head or south of you, you tend to get out of the heavy stuff. And that's why I say this is going to be a long duration event, but I'm not too worried about the last 12 hours. And I think, the road crews, they're going to have to work very hard Monday night, and kudos to the Public Works Department here in West Hartford. I mean, they break their butts working for all of us. But I think that, if they do stay on top of it by Tuesday at 1, this is 1 o'clock. You can see the storm starting to move east. You can see now we've got, clear breaks in the bands of snow. And then we move by Tuesday night. It's pretty much all over. This is Tuesday, 7 p.m. I should be pointing that out to you. So, and the low starts to pull away. But it's look at the millibars, 986. Now that's below 29.2, and that's not hurricane strength, but it certainly is a very tropical-like strength. And as it pulls away, I think it's going to continue to increase. Yeah, 984. 984, and then that's about it. And then we're going to really feel the winds. I'm going to peek at my phone here. I just want to go over the temperatures too and just make sure I'm giving you guys right information. Yeah, so Tuesday, and then we're going to stay cool. So you want to clean up as much as you can on Tuesday. It's going to be cold Wednesday night, but then we're going to turn a little bit milder, and that's going to be really helpful, especially with the sun. It's going to help clean up. It's not going to melt a lot of the snow because there's just too much snowpack, but it'll allow you to, clean your driveways off, clean your walkways off, get them to be safe. And then I'll keep going forward with this tool. It's really a great tool. We fast forward, and you see another storm starts to develop, and this also is a long duration. You can see the length. It really spans from, in this case, Western Pennsylvania, all the way out to looks to be Arizona, and it's just one of those big elongated storms. And it's right now they're saying it's going to more or less bullseye us, but there's going to be mild temps in place. Why? Let me make sure you can see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, see that high pressure off the coast right there? That high pressure, it's got a clockwise rotation, so it's rotating. It's pulling up milder air. When I say mild, it's relative. It's February 2nd now, or February 5th, or whatever it's going to be. Mild is 37 or 40. I don't want you thinking we're going to have 60s in here and we're going to be, barbecuing out back. But that high is going to be pumping in. The low way up to our north, you can see it there again with a counterclockwise rotation. Think of them as gears, and they're going to be just spinning opposite directions, pulling in this weather and also pulling in what I think at this point is going to be mild enough air to have it be hopefully all rain. And then we'll just go a little bit further. And you can see the high pulls away. Inland is going to get pounded. Unfortunately, the Vermont ski areas, it looks like, looking at this first blush, they're not. In fact, they're going to have such heavy rain, it's going to probably really hurt skiing. And then it's going to pull through in the form of a cold front. This doesn't show the cold front, but this has a telltale signs. All those storms up and down. This is a big, powerful cold front this is going to turn into. And then you see these high pressure systems, one over, I think that's North Dakota, and one over the Texas, the kind of northern Texas border, if you will. Those are what are kind of driving this front. So I imagine, I'll check the temperatures again. Behind it, we're going to get a little bit of cooling, and we are. Yeah, it's going to cool off behind it, but it's going to take excuse me, it's going to take a while for the system to get through. It's a big elongated system. Now this, just so you know, this is Sunday, and I'll back it up. Sunday at 1 a.m. Now this is next Sunday, the 7th. Let's back it up, and we're going to start seeing impacts from the system Friday. So it's going to be a crappy weekend next weekend. The good news for those of you who don't like snow is it doesn't look like it's going to be snow at this point. So that's the plan. Let me look here. I've got one other thing I can show you. I've got a loop here from the National Oceanic Institute, NOAA. Let me kick over to that. I'll show that in the stream, and I'll put myself back up here too, just because it's big enough. And I'm sorry this is so small, but it's just the way it's configured. But this is kind of the loop of the weather, and the dark blue is the heaviest. The lighter is light snow, and we're starting the loop pretty much right now, meaning real time, and then it fast forwards. And if you look, this has a little better handle on the evaporation. This is saying, when the dark blue gets here is when we should start to see the snow. So it's saying, 7 to 9 a.m. tomorrow, maybe a tad earlier. And then you can see the wind warnings along the coast. Those are all wind warnings right there. And kind of pulls through, but it's just, it just goes on and on. Tuesday, 7 a.m. That's when the heavy stuff starts to move north of us, and we start to see lighter snow. But you can see we're Tuesday night, and we're still dealing with lingering flurries. So kind of a lot to unpack here. Hope I didn't go on too long, but I figured I'd take my stab at a live snow forecast, and hopefully it is helpful. How much are we going to get? I think you're going to hear the word blizzard kicked around. I won't be surprised. I've only seen watches, which is surprising me. I don't think we'll make another hour or two without warnings if they haven't already gone up. In fact, I'll check here. I want to give you accurate information. Don't want to mislead anybody. Okay, it's weird. We have a winter storm watch. I'm surprised. So let me tell you a second, real quick. Difference between a storm watch and a storm warning. Storm watch is conditions could exist, but they're not guaranteed effectively. storm warning is they're going to exist. We know it. It's virtual certainty. And I'm really surprised. I've seen storm warnings go up earlier than this for big snow events. So I'm not sure why, maybe because it's the weekend. But no doubt this is going to be a serious winter storm. We're going to exceed 6 inches, which is the local threshold to qualify as a winter storm. A blizzard is, I think we're going to hit a blizzard. In fact, I'm highly confident we're going to hit a blizzard categorization as well, which up here is winds greater than 35 miles an hour, blinding snow conditions, and conditions lasting more than 3 hours. I'll be stunned if we don't achieve that. No one's talking about that, at least that I've seen. I've got my sources. I haven't looked at the news. I will, but I would expect, I'll hedge a little bit. I'll say 90% we're going to get a blizzard warning out of this thing, and it'll be called a blizzard. Virtual certainty, we're going to get winter storm warning. That if it hasn't happened in your area yet, it will. And finally, I talked a little bit, but schools, virtual certainty, it's going to be canceled tomorrow. Tuesday, I think it's a toss-up. I think the teachers are hoping. I talked to a friend of mine who's a teacher yesterday, and she's hoping it's canceled Tuesday as well. But I think it's going to be a delay situation. And then Adam Rader asked how bad it's going to be between 7 and 10 a.m. tomorrow. Adam, it's going to be going downhill, but if you're driving, I think you're okay. Just take it easy. That's all the questions we have. So anyway, that's it. Stay safe. I'll post a usual forecast on Neighbors and Friends tomorrow or later today. Like I said, be curious to see if blizzard warnings go up. I just feel like they're going to in this case. I think it's going to be a powerful enough storm. We're going to hit all three requirements, if you will, for achieving a blizzard. So, and it is February, and that seems to be when they happen. So with that being said, follow Ronnie on Twitter at wehartford.com, please. And follow me on Twitter at hartfordland.com. I'll let the crawl go. You can see our Twitter handles. And then Ronnie and I will be back hopefully this Wednesday with a show. I'm going to confirm that today, and I will make sure we get that announcement out. And then